Jesse Blake picked this team to make the Stanley Cup playoffs last year, and woo!
I was hoping everybody forgot.
Swing and a miss on this one. The Chicago Blackhawks had 61 points for last in the division last year. They are, according to the BetMGM odds, this is surprising, they have them at 67.5. Do you take the over or the under on 67.5? Hard to be that bad. Hard to see how they improve that much. But there are some reasons to hope, and we'll get into them.
I hate how good they are at this. That's
Why not odds makers?
Yeah, put like 80.5. I mean, whoa.
Well, the whole point is
that'd be so much easier.
They're trying to be good at this. That's the thing.
I hate to do this. I'm going to say under.
Under?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Jesse Blake, where do you have the almost playoff making Chicago Blackhawks from last year going?
Hey, it's Chicago. Under.
Oh, wow.
All right. We're going the other way this year. Screw you.
Let's start with Jesse Blake then with the Chicago Blackhawks. And I want to start net out because that's the biggest change.
Yes.
They have had goaltenders. Now, Laurent Brossoit, it was as of today's recording, and this is going to come out a couple of days later, but this won't have changed. It's looking like he's not going to play at all this year.
What?
If not, or it's going to be late in the season. He has not played a single game with the Chicago Blackhawks since signing there. He tweaked his hip last summer. Last summer after signing the deal in Chicago. Did not play last year. Is out long term, according to Scott Powers, for the regular season this year.
Man.
But you do have a young man named Spencer Knight, who has a big fat extension. He makes 4.5 this year and 5.83 the following 3 years. That's a good start, is it not?
Yeah, you're giving a lot of responsibility to a guy who's never been anything close to a starter at the NHL level, unless you count like the very end of the season with the Blackhawks, and that's really a cup of coffee in the role. Listen, it early returns are, it seems like a good bet, but it is far from a guarantee.
Jesse?
If we're starting with goaltending,
we are.
This is I think it's a good bet to make in Spencer Knight because that's what the Blackhawks got to be at this point. It's guys who are youngish, 24, who's coming into their own, and we're gonna make a bet for $4.5 million that we can lock up a starting goaltender at that number. Somebody who's had a decent little NHL tenure, now we can give him the reins and see if in a couple years he is that guy.
Arvid Soderblom is their backup, and he is making $2.75 million, roughly equivalent to what Anthony Stolarz makes with the Leafs. .898 save percentage this past year, .880 the year before. Is that him, or are the Blackhawks just really bad and it's hard for a goalie to look that good?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So it's a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah. No, he's a young goalie, and
well, he's 26, man. How much younger? How much longer do we call him young?
Goalies are younger longer.
Okay.
But like this is a very important year for him. Like I don't think this is going to happen, but there's a world where he takes starts from Spencer Knight.
Okay.
I was going to say becomes the starter. That's maybe a bridge too far on account of they just gave Knight almost $6 million a year.
Yep.
But he needs to be big if they want a shot at winning games.
And speaking of big, Alex Vlasic, who was one of the attendees of Team USA's Olympic camp, doesn't expect to make the team particularly this time because that roster is stacked. But that's quite the thing. And he's he stops zone entries. He's paired with Connor Murphy. They've got Kaiser, Levshinov, Del Mastro, and Rinzel, who are probably names a lot of people have not heard outside of the draft that are kind of
Blackhawks fans are all over them.
And Matt Grzelcyk is in on a PTO, and as of this recording, has not signed, but did have 40 points last year.
Right. So what you have with the Blackhawks, they basically didn't really make additions. I mean, Spencer Knight, but that was last season. If they are going to improve, it's going to have to be from their prospect pool. And that's just harder to evaluate. And please forgive me for saying under on 67.5 if they end up being halfway decent. It's just because we don't know these players as well.
Jesse, what do you think on defense there? Like that's a lot of young and rookie-ish names.
Yeah.
Not usually a recipe for success at the NHL level.
No, it's the exact same thing with the forward group that it is with the defense. It's we have a bunch of young guys and we're taking bets and we're seeing what our prospects can be, and that's going to be the season as a whole. I've been championing this narrative ever since I picked them to make the playoffs, and that fell flat on its face. But their rebuild is still in the early stages. This isn't a team that I look at like Detroit, where I've expected you to make the playoffs, even though I did last year, but disregard that. Where they've been in that for so long. Like, I should have been looking at the Blackhawks as they're just getting into this thing. They have so many young guys. Like, that bottom four pairing that they could be running out could have a combined age of like 80.
Yeah.
You know? If you're running at like
I don't think you're far off. Yeah.
Like, it's not off of 80 combined age.
It's not over 90. That's for sure.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
like, you have to give those kids time.
Yep.
They're not going to be good right now.
There are executives in the NHL who are older than the Blackhawks bottom four combined.
His name is Cliff Fletcher.
And I don't hate that Kyle Davidson has gone the nuclear route of the rebuild. And that's what he's truly done. And that's going to take a little bit. Kane and Taves aren't far away from being on this team. It was less than 5 years ago. So if you're stripping it down that far, and recently you had your big stars and that big cap hit, now we're into the depths of it, and we're slowly trying to we're at the bottom. We're slowly coming up that hill, but it's going to take some time.
But what we don't want to see out of the young guys on their decor is a repeat of what has happened with Connor Bedard.
And that brings us to the forward group. Connor Bedard, you guys remember that picture of him sitting in the press box, the penalty box, during one of the games in the regular season, and it was literally, it went viral, and everybody's like, please help this man. He will be joined by Donato Burakovsky, maybe Teravainen, Bertuzzi, Mikheyev is still there, Lafferty, Foligno, Dickinson, a lot of veteran guys, and Frank Nazar, obviously.
I was going to say Nazar is a big part of, if they're going to get better this season, he's a big part of that.
Right, but it really does kind of circle around Bedard, does it not?
Yeah, but there's a reason Nazar got all that money. A wild amount of money.
That's right. For those who don't know, I'm just pulling it up here because I can't remember right off the top.
It was $6.5 million for 7 seasons.
Woo! How many career NHL
56.
games? 56.
Yeah, they like him.
27 points, 56 games, 13 goals, 14 assists. And that is the first round draft pick, 13th overall in the 22 draft.
Yeah, the big expectations for the kid.
Yeah, and that's their lineup. Like, I look at a guy like Doc, and I look not the Kirby one, Colton, Slaggert, and who else? Like Nazar as well, and Bedard, and that's what they have.
Maybe Lucas Reichel, maybe.
Yeah, it's a collection of like third, second, and first round picks, and it's like, okay, some of these guys could be really big hits, and
they got a bunch of guys in junior too.
We hype up that San Jose team, and because they're kind of a little ahead of it, and we've seen what Will Smith can be, we see what Celebrini can be, but the Blackhawks prospect pool is just as good with like guys who have super high ceilings. Mm-hmm. We don't know what their floor is yet, but like the ceiling for these guys could be through the moon. So I'm excited to see what these kids develop into.
The Sharks guys are almost farther along.
Exactly.
Though, you know what I mean? Like, and it just, Bedard does sometimes feel like he's on an island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's a different curve.
Yes.
Than like everybody else. Like the Sharks are on one kind of path, the Blackhawks are another. Bedard's kind of ahead of it, but he needs the rest of it to catch up. Mm-hmm. I'm giving a lot of leeway to this rebuild, and I think it's just a wait and see process.
Yeah, you want to see more wins just because like you're not waiting for the young guys. Like a lot of them they're there, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be great to get some better results.
What does success look like for the Blackhawks this year? Then is it like a wins improvement? Their over under is 67.5, as we mentioned at the top. They had 61 points. Like, I don't think you're judging it based on points, are you?
A bit. A bit. Yeah, you want to win more games, score more goals, score more points, allow fewer goals. Like, I think they need to take steps in all facets. Like, it's at some point you get, I think some fan bases have patience for finishing last 1 year, but it's a really hard sell.
Yeah.
Doing that much losing.
Well, and they were bottom 7 in goals scored and second worst in goals against. So you would expect the goals against to go down. You would expect the goals for to go up just with some of these younger guys getting better.
Yeah, and if both those things come up, it's difficult to see them being as bad.
Right.
But
still not great. Okay, so
But the thing about the points thing is the San Jose Sharks had the best vibes of a 52-point team
Ever.
Remember, they finished below the Blackhawks, but the Blackhawks' vibes were much worse than Chicago. So I feel like even if Chicago has a 60-point season, they can turn these vibes around to make it look like, okay, we're making some progress. San Jose, to go back to them, their last time they picked up 2 points before the end of the season was the game we saw against the Leafs.
that's crazy.
that was in March.
That was from that game we saw in March. They did not win a game.
Wow.
And to collect 2 points for the rest of the year.
Wow.
And you would say like, oh my God, San Jose's great. But it was terrible from like a wins-loss perspective.
Yeah.
And Chicago can get to that point if they turn around the narrative on the rebuild and people recognize more of the prospects they have and that things are going in the right direction.
I think the expectations were different for Chicago because Bedard, so much was expected of him. He was the first overall pick in 23, which is getting further and further into the past. And they signed all these guys who, I mean, I really thought I didn't have them finishing very high last year, but when you pled your case for why they'd make the playoffs, by the end of it, I was like, they might make the playoffs.
I thought because they kind of jumped ahead.
And
I thought
everyone-
those guys could hit, and it was all nothing.
Everyone was below expectation.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So
Anyway, sorry, I ran long.
all right, no, it's fine. Well, listen, the question really is, I mean, this is a debate of who's going to finish lower in the division. Is it San Jose or is it Chicago? Potentially Nashville in there as well.
Different division.
Different division. Conference, I mean. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know why I said that. So where do you have them in the division?
8th. Let's not beat around the bush.
Okay.
Under an 8th, yeah.
I also have them in 8th. And I do, though, have them over. I do think they're going to get like 68, 69
Valid.
points.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
They need better marketing.
Yeah.
The Sharks have great marketing.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm rooting for you, Chicago.